Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brad and John, they're the ones to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
Good morning, John Combest.
Good morning, Brad Hildebrand. We're starting off very formal this morning.
It is a special day, John. A special day.
It sure is. It is. You want to reveal it?
Da-da-da-da-da-da. They say it's my birthday. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's not John Combest either. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm 90 years old. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, it's my birthday. And you know what? I'm not trying to say that I'm a important guy, but on one of the news channels, I don't know if you know this or not, Kevin Nealon, you know who he is from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I heard the teaser before we went on the air, Brad.
He's doing a show, and here's what's interesting. Someone sent me the video clip of this. Here, let me play this.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Nealon. Our top story tonight. It appears that happy birthday wishes are in order. We are monitoring things closely as details continue to come in, but it seems... Yes, I have confirmation. We're talking about you, Brad. Happy birthday. You're now at that age when you can't be sure if it's just a fart. To honor the occasion, our team has discovered some home videos from your childhood. You are old. Now for some deeper analysis, let's go live via satellite to our special guest commentator, Other Kevin. Other Kevin, what are your thoughts on all this?
Speechless, Kevin. Wow. Just wow.
Insightful as always. Thank you. Well, I'm now being told that we are out of time and that I should pull this lever. I'm Kevin Nealon. Thanks for watching.
And balloons and confetti fly. Yes, balloons and confetti fly because I am 90. Now, John, you make fun of people all the time. You call them, when they're in their 80s, what, they're octogenarian? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's not making fun of them, but they're octogenarians. And you know what people in their 90s are called, Brad?
What's that, John? Tell me. I want to know.
Old, decrepit radio show owners. Now, Brad, one of the rare things about 1 out of every 100 beaten to death stories you tell actually has application to people's lives. The story of you coming up with a kayfabe or a fake birthday has a real life application from a personal data security guy that you heard one time. And I think people would actually benefit from that story for once.
Guy told me once upon a time that when you get my age, that you have to cheat on your age. And my real age is 100. And he says, you know, once you get to that certain level, you got to knock like 10 years off your age, because if you meet a woman and she sort of gives you that wink and, sort of that, hey, come hither look. And then she says, how old are you? And if you say, I'm 97, she goes, oh man, see you later, buddy. And that's it. So you have to knock some ages.
But if you're only 90, you're fine. And yes, Brad, your original point of that, you don't, for a lot of people, it's a better idea to not have their real birthday out on the internet, because that's what people use to steal social security numbers and infringe upon your data, right? So Brad has always celebrated 2 birthdays. There's a real birthday and there's a kayfabe birthday.
John, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. Okay, I won't give it away. Happy quote unquote birthday to you, Brad. And I like the Kevin Nealon thing. Is part of that AI?
It's, believe it or not, that was sent to me by one of my friends. It's an American Greetings AI video. It's actually video. It's well done. It's actually him sitting in a news desk, and there's, when you hear that old-timey music, it's like me and my mom and dad in like a Ford Model T going down the road. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny.
It's pretty funny.
Now, we know that you didn't do that AI, Brad, or else it would say happy birthday to Brad and Bronjon.
No, it would say, happy birthday, Randy Rayleigh, Kevy Kev, and Katie Cruz. That's what it would say. That's what it would say. By the way, can I give you, John, I know we got to get into the top 3 here real quick. You know, I've had this little scuffle, shall we say, with the KBDZ folks, with the Kev Russell guy, whatever the hell his name is.
And it hasn't been much of a scuffle. You've had one text conversation. I don't think they would consider you competition, and I don't think they would consider it a scuffle. But in your mind, it's a scuffle, right?
Well, I put a video on yesterday. I'm doing my, hey, locally owned radio station thing, and I'm complimenting the other radio stations. And I put a video up yesterday about KBDZ. And I'm not to say who the woman was, but she is, shall we say, someone, if I mention her name, you know exactly who she was, because she has been a television news person for quite some time, and she's done radio as well too, but you probably know who she is from television. And she Facebook messengers me, and she says, matter of fact, here, I will pull it up right here, so nobody can accuse me of making up stuff. And this is a perfect example of why I'm helping out the.
Oh, what a guy you are, Brad.
And she says, "Hi, Brad. Hope all is well with you. Who is running KBDZ? I'm itching to get back on the air." And
nice, very good.
And I sent her Randy Rayleigh's name. I gave her Kev Russell's name, plus his cell phone number.
I'm sure he appreciates that. Is this woman looking to get into talk radio or music radio?
Well, they just do music. I don't know what you're saying. You said the thing yesterday that, they're going to do
hold on. No, that's not what I asked. And what we're already infringing on A Block. But my question is, Brad, my question to you was, is she looking to do talk radio or music radio?
No, she wants to do music radio.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because if she's into talk, there's KLIS, actually some competent local radio owners. There's KTR. There's a lot of other options she could have there, but that's awesome. And as a reminder to you, Brad, when you do these videos, you post them on Twitter, they get 11 views. I know you have more boomer friends on Facebook that watch this stuff. I think it's instructive for listeners to know. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. When you do something kind and for the greater good, Brad, a lot of times if you don't get feedback, I think you get a little crabby about it. It's a good reminder to people that when you do things for the greater good, sometimes they just fall on deaf ears. Sometimes Brad's videos get 11 views. Sometimes nobody on Facebook comments or cares. And you can't do good deeds and expect everybody to pat you on the back. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Brad, but it's just a good reminder to people. A lot of times you might make a video and nobody will see it or care about it.
John, I didn't hear you. My ears are deaf.
Hey, you know who's not deaf? People in the top three today.
And who do we know who would intro the top three for us? Who would that be, John?
Oh, you're asking me. Usually you hit a button and I can't hear the sound. That would be Casey Kasem.
I'm Casey Kasem. In third place.
Some good news for folks in Missouri who might be invested in a pension system and don't want their money going to support Chinese companies. Or maybe people who have a 529 college savings plan for their kids and don't feel great about investing in companies that are highly invested in China or that are actually Chinese companies. And that is Reuters reports today that Vanguard, the big investment company, has a brand new ETF. They call it an ex-China ETF. So companies that don't invest in China, followed push from Missouri Republicans. And more specifically, this piece, written by Suzanne McGee and Ross Kerber, gives credit to Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malek. You'll recall, Brad, since we started the show back in November of 2023, Vivek Malek has been making a big push to get Missouri's pension funds disinvested, I guess you could say, to disentangle Missouri's pension funds from Chinese companies. You know, why should we back the Chi-Coms with pensioners' retirement money? So Vanguard, who handles a lot of the state's investments, has just announced they filed on May 30th with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission a brand new emerging markets ex-China ETF. So Vivek Malek points out that, hey, now Missouri pension funds can be invested when the state wants to invest in emerging markets, but doesn't want to invest in China. There's another vehicle to do that. What do you think about this, Brad?
John, you don't want to know what I think about it.
Well, I do. That's why I ask you.
I think Vanguard should be shut down.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's because they're capitalists and they make money?
Because they're not good for the American economy.
Oh, okay. And where should that? Who should manage pension money then? Like the Bank of Washington?
No, crap radio should have a pension fund, and we would invest wisely.
That would be good. It would decrease in value every year because nothing new or interesting would happen with it.
We would
and I think the interesting thing here too, Brad, is that Vanguard now has an ex-China fund. What I think is unstated or understated probably in this Reuters piece is that Vivek Malek isn't going out there beating his chest saying, look at what we made Vanguard do. We push Vanguard to do this. There are other investment firms like iShares, for example. I couldn't think of the name of it earlier, but iShares has an ex-China fund. You can buy and trade that EMXC, where if you want to invest in emerging markets, but maybe you don't want exposure to China based on tariff issues or whatever rationale you have. So those ETFs exist. So I don't think Vivek is out there beating his chest saying, look at what we made Vanguard do. And in fact, the Reuters piece does a good job pointing out that Vanguard was probably working on this before they filed it. It's not like Vivek pushed them to the brink, but it's still a good option. You know, I think probably many of our listeners with kids automatically enrolled in the 529 plan. So if you want to invest in international funds and not have exposure to China for whatever reason, now 529 Missouri Most will give you that opportunity.
John, you need to come up with some more with some better gender neutral phrases.
Oh, what did I say, Brad?
You said Mr. Vivek was beating his chest. Now, if Mr. Vivek was a Mrs. Vivek, I don't think she'd be beating her chest.
Well, she probably would, based on whatever her partner's then do.
On to number 2.
Up a notch to number 2.
You know, if you're a livestocker or a rancher in the state of Missouri, you deal with a lot of pressures. You deal with tariffs. You deal with international trade issues. And one of the super annoying things you're dealing with in Missouri are black vultures. Now, you might want to go all Brad Hildebrand and get your favorite firearm out and put down one of those suckers. But you better think twice, because there's something called the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. And the Migratory Bird Treaty Act says that you cannot put down one of these big black vultures that's attacking your livestock. Well, Eric Schmitt and a group of other Republican senators said, well, we'll just see about that. Schmitt and his friends have introduced the Black Vulture Relief Act, and it would allow folks to put down vultures that are attacking their livestock anywhere in the United States. Now, as it exists today, if you're in Missouri, only the Missouri Farm Bureau can get you a sub-permit to farmers and ranchers to control black vultures. In other words, today, if vultures are attacking your livestock, you got to go get a permit before you shoot one of them. But thanks to Eric Schmitt and friends, we may be able in Missouri to put down those pesky black vultures without getting a permit. This sounds like cutting red tape, don't you think, Brad?
You want my opinion on this?
I do want your opinion.
This is BS. I mean, it's just BS. If the farmers want to shoot,
about it?
If the farmers want to shoot black vultures, they're going to shoot black vultures. They don't care what the government says.
Yeah, but Brad, what about those poor Black Vultures Migratory Relief Act? Are you suggesting people break the Migratory Bird Treaty Act?
John?
What if there's a magpie out there? What if there's Steve and Maggie from the popular kids show? You know, what if there's a magpie that's having a good time on some cattle out there?
Just like our friendly Westplex area senator who wanted to pass a law that if you were going 100 miles an hour in the left lane, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the speed limit on most of the Missouri interstates is outside of the metro areas, it's 70. But if you're going 100 and he pulls up behind you and he wants to go 110 and he flashes his lights at you and you don't move over, you get a ticket. So, you know, once again, think about that for a minute. If you're overtaking a vehicle and it's already doing over the speed limit and you are trying to overtake that vehicle and increase your speed limit violation even further, shouldn't that person be thrown in jail? But no, they just violate the other law. So even the legislature. What's the guy's name again? What's his name, John?
Oh, I don't know, Brad. How about the guy that's in charge of Franklin County? What's his name?
That's Dave Shoot at Me. Isn't that what his name?
That's what the vulture said. What did the vulture say before it fell to the ground?
Isn't that
so?
Dave?
Anyway, this piece, by the way, is brought to us by Brownfield Ag News, and I think this is just a good piece of common sense legislation.
I think it's stupid, but what do I know? And now with number one.
The number one.
They came at night, leaving fear behind. Shadows were on the ground. Nobody knew where to find him. No evidence was found. I'm never coming back, they heard him cry. And I believed him. Well, he never meant to do anything wrong. It's going to get worse if he waits too long. Yes, that was Phil Collins talking about the incoming IRS commissioner, Billy Long. And in an important step yesterday, a U.S. Senate committee advanced by a vote of 14-13 the right to give Billy Long a chance to be debated on the floor of the Senate. Billy Long is one step closer to being the official IRS commissioner. Now, you'll recall, Brad, Democrats are all in a tizzy because they say he's been working with companies that had offered tax credits, and some of those tax credits don't even exist. And who is this guy from Missouri? Who is this auctioneer from Missouri? But it looks like now, on the floor of the Senate, there will probably be a battle of whether or not Billy Long will be confirmed as IRS commissioner. Think of the number of people who are just waiting to contact Billy Long, who've known him for a long time, but maybe they have IRS problems. Maybe they don't listen to radio. Maybe they don't listen to guys hawking their IRS legal services. Maybe they just want to contact Billy Long directly. Anyway, great news. There's, of course, a bunch of partisanship with it anytime you have a partisan vote in the Senate, but great news for Missouri and Billy Long.
You mean that, really?
Yeah, it's awesome. Billy's great. I think he'll be a fantastic IRS commissioner. And remember, Billy points out that he was the one that invented the phrase Trump train. He was one of the first people on the Trump train, and he coined the term the Trump train.
I heard that he is personally going to oversee people who have disputes with the IRS as far as the money is concerned. And he's going to be standing up there in front of the IRS, is the IRS official, and the citizens are going to come in and say, Mr. Long, I would like to debate the fact that you told me I owed an additional $20,000. He's going to say, well, maybe we'll take that $20,000 and knock it down to $19,000. Maybe $19,000. Maybe $18,000. How about $17,000? How about $16,000? $15,000? Sold. You only owe $15,000. And they go, thank you, sir. That's what's going to happen, don't you think?
He's going to do it in a professional manner, that's for sure. Now, what I think you would be concerned with, Brad, he did talk about the fact that you'll no longer be able to write off. If you buy more than 50 internet domains in a year, you won't be able to write them off.
You know what?
And you reach that number in Q1 of every year, don't you, Brad?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because just last night I bought don't buy over 50 domains a year.com.
Thank goodness. Now, you're so cheap that you bought like a .us, I think. You told everybody that the domain was at .video for about 18 months, and then you just changed it without telling anybody.
But because of the fact it went up to super price. See, once upon a time, the .coms were the most expensive ones. Now there's ones that are like, they're $300-400 a year. Like, for example, any of the .sucks are $99. So if I wanted to buy John Combest .sucks, it's going to be $99. And you know darn well I don't have $99 to pay for a domain name. You know what I'm saying?
And John Combest .sucks is where ladies go to apply, correct?
We have to take a break.